thank you for joining us today. And our topic today is Life of a New Realtor with Mike Wolitski. And Mike has been with us for a while now, and we wanted to just sit down with him and have a good time. Welcome aboard, Mike. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
All right, good job. I got a couple of questions for you, Mike. And the first one is tell us about the last 6 months, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tell us what's going on.
Well, there's not too much bad and ugly. There's been a lot of good. I've been truly blessed to be in the situation that I'm in, just because meeting Ismail and first becoming acquainted with him. I'm a very spiritual person, and so I felt God put Ismail in my life for a reason. It first started meeting him at a gym, and after bothering him for about 3 or 4 months, he finally introduced me to the people that he worked with, which was Century 21 Discovery, and he kind of stepped away for a little bit, and I was privileged to be able to learn through you guys for the next 3 or 4 months up until getting my license. And then in September, finally got licensed, and ever since then, it's been a blessing for a new agent. The resources that I have, I'm very blessed.
You know, you mentioned Ishmael, and you're part of the Chavez home team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are doing some great things there. I tell you, what kind of support have you received? Tell us about that.
So,
and what's important? I don't mean to interrupt you, but you know, what's important to you in that support? So, what means the most, and you know, what made a difference, and all of that.
For me, it was huge to have access to either of your guys' brains 24/7. As a new agent, you're going to come across a lot of different obstacles that you don't know how to handle, and you guys are always accessible through phone, email, in the office. I can pretty much get access to you guys whenever I need, and from a client's perspective, they want answers right away. And so if I don't have the answer immediately, I can usually get a hold of you guys, and you can provide an answer for me within at least 5 minutes if you guys are busy. So resources here are great. Not only just you, Ismail, but Stephanie, Susie. We have lenders that are in store, escrow, in-house escrow. So the resources are just unlimited here.
You know, as a new agent, I'm sure you have a lot of people willing to give you advice along the way. Who do you listen to?
There's a lot of different people in the office that have given me advice. I've Judy Haru, Marie Bagger, Babette and Corliss. I can go on and on about all the different agents. At least almost every agent that's active in Century 21 Discovery has given me advice throughout the way. And we have, 150? 121. So for being a new agent, I'm getting a whole bunch of different ideas from agents that have been anywhere from a couple years to 30 or 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of different wisdom and advice that I'm soaking in from a lot of successful real estate agents.
So, Mike, you know, real estate agents in general, or anybody in the real estate industry, we're bombarded with all kinds of shiny new objects, which we refer to them as squirrels running around. What advice would you give new agents about all the gadgets and technology that people are promising that'll make them successful? And second part of that question is there a secret sauce?
Yeah. Well, first, there is no secret sauce, and this is a discussion that you and I have had plenty of times. If there was, you'd be the first to know about it and would be implementing it in your repertoire.
Absolutely.
But Isma and I have also had this conversation about shiny objects, just because there are temptations out there, and real estate is an industry that you can earn a lot of money, and you can use that money to obviously purchase bright, shiny objects. But Ismail has mentioned that it would be very beneficial with the income that you start bringing in, investing it in yourself. So when times get a little bit tough, because real estate, it can be a roller coaster. You're going to have your up years, you're going to have your down years. And when those down years come, you don't want to be struggling for money. And so it'd be very smart to invest your money, put it into your business, and maybe hold off on the nice objects till the timing's right.
Right. And Mike, this is a great question, I think, and I wish I would have thought of it. But what is your most unanticipated experience that you've had so far?
My first most unanticipated experience. That's a great question. I think the success that I've had so far for being a new agent, I did not expect, honestly, to make a penny in my first year, and the results that I've had already just go on to me just being extra blessed. Like I said, I couldn't be in a more perfect situation, and I think that my success will continue to grow, and it's only increasing exponentially. It's happening much faster than I thought, so that's probably the biggest thing.
When you started in September, you didn't think you were going to be able to buy Christmas presents for your family, did you?
I did not know.
And were you able to? You were able to do that, weren't you?
Yes, comfortably.
And you were surprised. You were pleasantly surprised, weren't you?
Yeah.
That's really cool to hear. What's a typical day for you?
So I like to get my workouts in the morning. So that can be anywhere from 6 in the morning. Sometimes I get up a little late, 7. And I'll get out of the gym around 8:30, 9-ish, get home, shower, eat good breakfast that'll last me through the day till lunchtime. Get to the office around 10 for a training if it's we have a training schedule that day, 10:30, 11. And then I'll do some office work, and then I like to spend the rest of my day farming, meeting with clients, appointments, handling stuff that's going to help grow my business in the long term.
You do a lot of door knocking, don't you?
I do.
You enjoy that?
At first it was very difficult, but I'm big on listening to inspirational speakers and things like that, and one of the quotes that hit me was falling in love with the process, and I learned that I had to really enjoy door knocking, and just engraving that in my head that yes, it's tedious work, but it's work that I enjoy working extremely hard, and I know it's going to pay off in a year, 2 years.
This has just been a great testimonial. You've done really well in the business, and that's cool, and I think you're doing great. I appreciate you joining us today and sharing this. And you talked about inspiration. Where do you find inspirational? Are these podcasts that you're listening to? Where are you getting that positive drip?
I get a lot of it in the office through talking to you and Ismail. You guys have had a lot of stories throughout the years that you've been able to share with me, so the things that you guys tell me are very uplifting, especially when I'm going through something that's very challenging and can be frustrating at times. You guys have the experience to help change my perspective and help shape where I really need to be and help me overcome my obstacles.
And then I want to close with just your thought process, and I think you'll give me the right answer, which you always do. But Mike, you're not really attached to the income at the end of the day. You have worked some challenging files. Tell me about what's your philosophy on this business. Tell me about that.
So I view money as a tool, not a necessity, and I want to use money as a way to help change different parts of the world I see that could use some attention. For people that don't know me, I had a traumatic sports injury, and I have a heart for kids that have suffered through something similar to what I've gone through. And I would love to be able to start, maybe a charity foundation. This is something I've talked with Susie, Stephanie, and yourself about, and what it takes to create basically a fundraiser to help money go back. So at some point, I would like to start putting my profits aside and donating to my charity to help kids, that are struggling with an injury that unfortunately come from a family that necessarily can't cover a surgery, whether it be insurance is being an issue, income isn't quite there. So I personally don't want to see kids struggling to cover a $40,000-$50,000 surgery that was not necessarily their fault.
Right. You're determined, aren't you?
Yes.
Thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I think this has been a great show, and thank you for joining us as well. See you next time. Charge on. Nice job.
Thanks.
Nice job, man. Thank you. That was cool. How'd we do?